Guys, welcome to the number one podcast. No, not really. It's just
Where
like,
am I looking?
It's starting like that. That's you there.
Here? Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be yours. Oh, how are we looking good, Greg, over here for this cam? And we're recording over here on... Thank you. We've got the amazing Greg in the studio helping us out with the audio.
Okay, that's good.
Oh, was that even going?
It was.
Nice. Welcome, guys. Talk with York, episode number 3. We're here with Ula. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Did that feel like I was announcing you for like a UFC fight or something
It
like?
did a little bit.
And ready to rumble. Ula. You really stretch that out, eh? Tell the people at home a little bit about yourself. Go ahead.
Well, hi, I'm Ula. I'm a singer, songwriter, social media from Sydney. Make music,
Ballad.
release music. That's
Performer.
That's me in a little nutshell.
Busker.
Live
streamer.
All of it. I just do all of it.
It actually sounds like you do a crazy lot of shit. I've written some notes and stuff like that as well, so I thought I'd have some good questions.
Hell yeah.
Because usually I go on tangents a lot.
That's okay.
But thanks for coming on the pod as well.
Thank you for having me.
It's kind of funny as well. People might not know, but like we go on couple dates. Like, you know, we've both got partners and we go on couple dates and stuff, and we go to quiz nights. We've done about 2 quiz nights or 2 or 3 quiz nights or something like that. So that's
time.
yeah. But the funny thing is I knew about your music and everything like that actually before, and obviously we were fans of you before and everything like that. But now we go on couple dates and that's really funny. So thanks for coming on the pod.
Thanks for having me again.
All right, let's get these out. What have we got? I've got some good questions here, some absolute crackers.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you use a lot of different sort of labels to sort of describe what you do, because it feels like these days you have to do like you have to wear like a million hats. But maybe we can start with what you're doing at the moment, like some of the busking stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's something that feels like that's like you stand out in that area. That's something that you do that you kind of own a little bit, you know, like, hey, I fucking bask and I live stream, and you do really well as well.
Oh, thank you.
And you've got a fucking incredible voice.
Thank you.
As well, absolutely great. Me and Jen, such fans of your voice. But where we go here? All right, so yeah, busking. So the first time I really saw you busking was like the busking for Ukraine sort of stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And then I thought, like, that's fucking amazing. It's a good way to use your platform to actually like do some good.
Yeah.
And everything like that. So maybe just talk about how you started busking or.
Yeah. Well, I've been busking since, my God, I think that this is now, I'm coming into the 8th year that I've been busking. Like, I've been doing it for ages. The whole reason I started was I was either just turned 14 or 13, about to turn 14. I can't remember exactly when, but sometime around then. And all my friends were getting like their first jobs at Macca's and trying to apply at like La Visa and whatever.
Yeah.
And I wanted a job because I wanted to get money like everyone else was, but I did not want to work in McDonald's. There's no way I was stepping foot in there.
What, free cheeseburgers? Come on,
not
sign
for
me
me.
up. Free cheeseburgers.
Not for me.
$10 an hour, let's go.
Yeah, I was at like a singing, dancing school thing, and the older group, I don't know, level people who were like in their late teens, a lot of them were going busking. So I was like, oh my God, love this idea. Let's just try it. So I started busking in Parramatta. If you're from Sydney, you'll know that area.
Yeah.
Not the best. But yeah, I started going Friday after school. Mum would pick me up, race home, get changed, do my little makeup, go busking for a couple hours, and then I'd spend my weekends busking. So did that throughout high school, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically as a job. I would post on social media, but it was like, you know,
It was mostly just
like,
busking.
Well, I had like 200 followers on Instagram, and I was posting covers where I sounded really bad. But that was the starting point. It was still starting point.
The old early content hailer. If you dig up my old YouTube videos, they're so cringe.
But yeah, that was the starting point, and it was honestly just because I wanted to have a job, and I've wanted to do music my whole life. So I was like, perfect, I'm making money, and I was making way more than my friends at Macca's. So
That's
I was pretty happy with myself.
Because it's a good spot though. Like at the end of the day, like, you know, you're busking in like Sydney and like surrounding areas. Like it's one of the more populated, obviously, cities, you know, in Australia, like the core place, like where there's a lot of stuff going on and a bit more money floating around and stuff as well. And like you can go, were you going to Pitt Street Mall? It was just mostly.
Well,
Parramatta first.
No, I was only in Parramatta.
True, just local.
Well, yeah, because I live out west.
How long would you do like in a session?
Like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
But it was when I started in Parramatta, God bless my mum who helped me work out how to do all this stuff. She literally like wrote to the council and was like, hello, my daughter is 14 years old and she's an aspiring singer. Because you weren't actually, literally shout out mum. You weren't, I don't think you were allowed to busk. But we just did this whole like I'm a kid and I'm bringing happiness to the streets. Yeah. So I would get like
happiness to the streets.
I'd get like a timetable sent to me by Parramatta Council of when I'm allowed to like busk.
That's it. So mum hooked it up.
Yeah, because you can't. I think obviously this was like ages ago now, so I don't know what the rules are like now.
Right.
But back then it wasn't like a busking permit. So
Okay.
I got my
It's just
little
like
email.
Yeah,
which it was a council event.
Yeah,
that's what it was under.
Okay.
So I did that. And then I started posting on TikTok during lockdown because
like 2020-ish kind of vibes.
Yeah, would have been 2020.
No shit.
Or like very end of 2019, I think I started a TikTok, but it was still really embarrassing to have TikTok, so I didn't tell anybody.
It was so hated, wasn't it, at the start?
Yeah, it was so hated, and I was so scared to tell anyone that I was posting on TikTok, but I wanted, obviously I wanted to like put my music out there to some capacity. So I started.
You were smart enough to know that like, actually this is going to be really good.
Started posting little clips, and I think one got like 10K views, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
I'm sold.
This is
I'm
it.
famous, mum. I made it.
Yeah, and then we went into lockdown. Boom.
Yeah. It's a lot of people though. Like, you know, if you're a kid coming up trying to figure it out, you see 10K, you're like, it validates you. You're like, damn.
But that was like the starting point because of I had
so COVID really kicked it off.
Yeah.
So because you're saying you started posting around the time of like COVID or just around that. So that was that a player in it, like making you like commit more to making content?
Yeah.
Because like Jen kind of did that. Like when COVID hit, she was like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah,
and she sort of went
like
that direction.
Thing.
Right.
Well, I was still in high school in 2020, which is when like the height of COVID. Right. Well, when it started. Yeah. I was in year 12. I was already like trying to do music. I was posting on like Instagram and YouTube, but didn't have many followers at all. No one was really watching. And because we had online classes, I literally had like these conversations with my mum being like, I don't want to be doing maths right now. I hate school so much. I'm going to go absolutely insane if I have to sit in my bedroom and do online classes, graduating school.
X
I don't even want to
plus Y equals shift the one to the...
Yeah.
It's like,
so we made a deal. If I was doing something to do with music, then I didn't have to go to class because I was working towards my career.
With like the staff at the school?
No, with
or
my
your
mum. So then when
that's really cool that she was like...
Yeah, she's always been so supportive. I've been super lucky
with
that.
Sick.
But that's why if like the school would say anything, like they'd be like, I'm going to tell your mum. I'm like, girl, I'm doing this because my mum's letting me.
Though, like, she saw that you like
Big time.
excelled in certain different areas and not other areas, and she's like, well, let's nurture her within what she wants to do.
But yeah,
and
that's
her passion,
how it started.
you know, like find her passion. Wow.
I just stopped going to my classes during lockdown and started just like grinding on TikTok because it was working, and I had like a surplus.
So were you busking?
No, I had old videos from that my mum would like, because my mum would stay with me the whole time that I was busking, so she would film for me because it was a bit dangerous. There was a lot of sketchy people, especially being like 14. It was very sketchy.
100% the right call from mums. She figure it out. Yeah. You're on your own now.
No, she would film a bunch of stuff. So during lockdown, I had all this like extra built up content. So when other stuff started doing well on TikTok, I started posting like the old busking videos. And obviously I couldn't go busking because we were in lockdown.
Exactly.
But I kind of started to make a very small name for myself in the busking scene. But people kind of knew that I was a busker. So once the restrictions got lifted and I could go back to busking, that's when I started live streaming them.
How long was it like before you could how long could you not busk for with COVID? Was it a while? Like a year or something?
It was because it just kept going up and down with like where you could. So I would go in Parramatta at first because you had like the radius that you were allowed to.
Okay.
So I think it was only like 3 months that I couldn't do anything, but then I could go in Parramatta. But then when stuff started going well, that's when I went, okay, I need to get out of Parramatta because there's nothing here. Right. And that's when I started going to the city and started doing Pitt Street Mall and all the like
more chance of being seen. And, more people
and
moving
that's
through
what
there.
like really catapulted.
It's crazy there. Like there's so many people coming through from like just all over the world and. Yeah, you never know who's going to walk past you at Pitt Street Mall. Literally, could be anyone. Timothy Chalamet or some shit. Just like, what the fuck? Bob Dylan?
Basically.
Right, so and that's the origin story of the busking. So busking's always been like a big part of kind of... I mean, would you give some credit to busking as far as your success, the early success?
Oh, honestly, all of it.
Yeah,
I think like...
So busking really is so powerful.
Not even just like the social media aspects. Like obviously posting videos and gaining followers is great, but...
Right.
as an artist, starting busking so young was like the best form of artist development that I could have ever done, and I recommend it so much because there's nothing harder than standing in the middle of a place where no one wants you there and trying to prove yourself to be there. There's nothing harder than that as an artist.
Absolutely.
So with like just everything, that's what, you know, it made me so much more confident with being able to play actual shows now, and like vocal stamina, vocal ability, like singing for like 5 hours on end is like basically like training.
Yeah.
But instead of doing it, of doing it in my room, I get like profiting in other ways by doing it outside and posting videos and live streaming, blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, it's the best.
I think it obviously takes some balls to get out there and kind of do it. And I think that's what stops a lot of people trying it.
Yeah.
But if you are one of those people that can, you know, actually, if you want to like, especially if you're like a singer or like, you know, you sing and play guitar and stuff like that. And I'm sure other things too, but if you're on the come up and you're trying to hone your craft, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, you can jump into a studio and put a bunch of auto-tune and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But what's timeless is like actually like developing your skills, you know, and getting good at the thing. Because also you don't want to be the TikTok one that's like a song blows up, then you do it live and it sucks. Yeah. You get exposed. Exactly. You don't want to get hella exposed like that, you know. So if you can busk, like you said, if you can busk in the middle of Pitt Street Mall, you can perform in front of fucking 50, 100, 200 people. What are you talking about? Busking's crazy. And also you get hate. Like you get hate and you get people actively like, I remember when I was like busking in Port Pirie back in the day and I was just like a kid and I was like doing falsetto shit because I was like into Jeff Buckley at the time and I was just like, oh. And like some kids, like some little Eshe kids walked past me and just started like mimicking it. They're like, oh. Yeah. And just taking the piss out of me. And I was like, fuck. But like some people would quit there. Yeah. But like if you just get over that hump, it forces you to get, it's like a pressure cooker. It's like, it's a pressure cooker.
Well, that's why nothing can faze me. Like I cannot imagine any scenario in a real life show that would actually faze me to the point of being like, oh my God, what do I do? Like I need to just get off the stage. Like there's nothing. After the things that I've seen in the city, there's nothing. It's
the ultimate sort of confidence builder as well, isn't it? Like it's like, it really is massive because like I did years of busking as well and I still go out every now and then and I'm actually inspired seeing your busking. It's like, fuck, I want to get out there again, you know. That's what happens, like one person starts busking, then all of a sudden everyone's out there, they're all doing it. And also it's just like a good way to just, I used to like going out there and busking and just the fact that there's no crowd, it's just random. You can sort of get into your own little pocket, like, you know, separate. If you can find that little space within yourself with all that stuff, all that noise going on, you can just feel the music and if you're having a shit day, like this is the thing as well, if you're having a shit day, you're in a bad mood, you don't even want to go busking, but if you do, you're going to feel a million times better at the end of it. Yeah. Like you get it all out and you have a sing.
100%.
I think that's just singing or like,
and I also live stream every single time I go, so I feel like I have, at the beginning it was different because it was like just me, myself and I in the songs, but now because I live stream every single one, I feel like there's a different connection level because even if the city is completely empty and no one cares for the entire time that I'm busking, there's still this complete connection over the live stream because there's always like hundreds of people watching online. So I feel like I'm never really
you always have that alone. Audience and you're always like like performing.
And even stuff, when like people will say stupid shit in the streets because God, there's so much.
Oh my God, crazy.
There's always a support from people online who are watching from home. So I feel like it's nice little like, not a safety net, that's the wrong word.
It's just but you just have a supportive little community.
Like it's a supportive
at the end of the day, system, you know, like you're like, you know, you're a massive name to some of these kids as well, you know, like it's like Jenna and it's like how they actually look up to you as like actually fucking crazy, you know, and they're like, holy shit, you've had like millions of streams, you know, you've done collabs, you've done like, you know, you've done gigs, you've done crazy shit. You're sort of ticking all these crazy boxes. And it's cool to see like when you build that little community, but I feel like it's based on your personality. Like if you're an asshole, like your community will just be assholes. Yeah. But if you're actually just out there spreading joy singing, like they're really like protective of you and stuff like that, which is really cool. Yeah. It's kind of the modern world, hey, as well. Like, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. All right. Next question. TikTok ban. What's your take on that? I mean,
it's such a tough thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look, TikTok is the best thing that's ever happened in my life to me. And it will probably, regardless of anything else that happens to me, it will always be the best thing that has ever happened because without that platform, like I was grinding trying to do this YouTube and Instagram stuff for already so long. And yes, given I was way younger and my voice was not as great and my content was not as great.
Naturally.
But I was still really trying to grind it. But TikTok, genuinely, and it sounds so
Just
cringy, changed my life. And I don't think that there's anything that can like catapult. Like it catapulted so much.
Yes.
Yeah, well, not even just in like, in terms of like having followers, but because now so many connections in the music industry for writing music and releasing music and I mean, like I do so much stuff behind the scenes that people don't see on social media.
Of course.
Within music, and like I'm still working towards music every day, and without TikTok as the initial platform, would have never had any of that. So I can't, like, it actually makes me emotional thinking if TikTok was to get banned like forever.
It was so sad, and I did talk to Ash Magic about it as well, because obviously, you know, like he's trying to do his thing on there as well, and like, and I feel like TikTok's got its own community, and it's like it's got this like, you know, this loving sort of feeling of like, this is TikTok, this is our community.
Yeah,
we make people famous that we choose, and it's like our vibe and stuff, you know, and it's like. And you really change people's lives, and there's so many people that were relying on it. So I mean, it was kind of crazy, but I mean, it seems fine at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with it. I guess if Trump can make a deal, then they'll keep it, and if not, like maybe they'll get rid of it. I don't know.
I'm just riding the wave.
That's fucked though.
Staying and continuing.
So many
as long
jobs.
As I can. Yeah, it is crazy.
What would you do? Crazy. What would you fucking like? Honestly, what would you do if they had to?
I mean, if it was like.
Did you obviously would have thought about like what am I going to do? Because obviously,
if it was Snap, like we finished this podcast right now, and it turns out TikTok's banned.
Can't open it.
I mean, there's not really in my mind. There's no other choice except to just keep grinding and try and wait for the next app that will blow up and jumping on that.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine ever doing anything except for what I do now, like
100%.
music. So
yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know.
Well, that's the thing. You live this, like you're living your dream, right? Like like it's a full time thing, like you know, and I find it weird sometimes, and I still try and push through, but making content like in writing sessions and things like that, like you want to show people the cool shit that you're doing, or even in the studio and you're mixing or whatever the fuck you're doing, you want to like show that sometimes, but it's kind of a sacred, like magical place sometimes, and you just don't want to like desecrate the sanctity of like, you just want to stay locked in with the music shit, you know, kind of thing sometimes. Well. So people don't quite know what it actually takes. They just see the social media side of things.
100%.
All right, so I've got here, what have we got? Lithuanian music. Can you sing us a Lithuanian song?
Sing a Lithuanian song?
Do you know some Lithuanian tunes? Put you on the spot here.
I know. Okay, I've actually never spoken about this because I don't know why I'm so embarrassed about this. There's some like deep-seated like primary school trauma of people being bullied for doing scouts. This is so random. You're going to be like, what are you even talking about right now? But I don't know why. It was like everyone who did scouts got so bullied. But I grew up doing Lithuanian scouts, and I never told anyone it was scouts because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so bullied if I tell people that I do scouts. But I grew up doing Lithuanian scouts, which it's basically just like you go on camp and everyone talks Lithuanian and everyone is Lithuanian.
That's
but
sick.
You sing like campfire songs like each night. So I know like so many, like we have like a little,
Lithuanian
like old folklore
songs. Go on,
songs,
rip on out. Give us a little.
I can't even think of one right now. This is really embarrassing.
No,
no,
I don't know.
Okay, wait. If there's any Lithuanian
person. I don't know Lithuanian words, bro.
Okay, the only one that's coming to my head right now is like the most randomest one. So if there's any Lithuanian person watching this,
please don't take this seriously.
I'm so sorry about this.
Ula is not trying to speak for all of the Lithuanians out there right now. She's just,
This is the only one that I can remember.
I put her on the spot.
Laužo stega, stovykloj, mes tenojam, mums gera ir linksma. And then you do it in a round, so then like you would start singing it next. I don't think you can, but
I don't know. That was good though.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing the culture and opening the minds of these small-minded audience at home. No, I'm just joking. I love yous. All right, what else we got? All right, so maybe we could talk even about like futon and stuff like that, just as obviously like a massive moment for you and like this kind of the start of, I guess, like, I don't know, like, is that a moment where you hit, well, now it's like 37 million streams and like, you know,
that's mental.
How old are you though? You're only like fucking...
I'm 22 next Friday. I'm having an existential crisis about it.
But I am
22
you're still
next
a baby. But that's what I'm saying. Like, how old were you when the futon...
I was 17.
When it popped off?
Well, that whole thing was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, really,
was
honestly.
That TikTok as well? Like
that was fully TikTok.
That's
honestly,
so good.
never thought that... Like, I just never imagined it happening how it did. Basically, I would have had maybe like 300k followers on TikTok. And this is in like the height of COVID lockdowns. And I was just like posting anything to do, any kind of singing content or singing trends. So from busking stuff to just doing covers to doing anything that came up that I could sing on, I would post, and I was oversaturating. I was posting so much. But there were these two guys over in LA who were doing instrumental beats and being like, if you're a singer, jump on this and sing it. So I did. So that's how we met. And then, so they were in LA and I was here and we started working together. Anyway, we released Futon, and then we had like just a TikTok was about maybe 1 minute video. I think that was when 1 minute videos had just come out. So we did a 1 minute video, and it was basically just a video of like how they're in LA, I'm in Sydney. We made a song, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we posted it. The first 2 days of the song being out was like 10 streams. And I was like, you know what? I'm happy with that, because even 10 people listening to my music.
That is so nice.
That's great. And
I'd be like, fuck yeah. Fuck those 10 people. No, just a second.
But yeah, the video went, I wouldn't even say viral. It only got like maybe 2 million views. Like, it didn't go crazy. But from that video.
That's like.
Oh my God. That is my phone alarm.
It's all right. Oh, I thought it was someone calling up. I was like, answer it on the pod. Answer it on the pod.
Stop. Sorry, guys.
No, literally, I think everyone's phone's gone off at one point. Ash Magic's phone went off. Mine went off after his. Like, you forget you.
Sorry, guys. Anyway,
it's my job to tell people, because if I can't remember, no one else should be able to remember.
Yeah. So,
but
basically,
yeah, so 2 million on that kind of video. But for someone who's young and coming up, that's got to be fucking exciting. Like, even that.
Yeah.
Like,
but then from that video, we literally the next day it was like 100k streams on the song, and I was like, what the hell is happening? This had like.
So the video directly correlated to
Yeah, and the video didn't go that well, and the song on TikTok, like, it's not like people were using the song on TikTok either. It's a strange, like, the whole situation was really strange, but it just worked so well and translated like directly onto Spotify. And yeah, that was like the catapult of, I guess, my actual like career in terms of like releasing my own music, because I have a very
because you had that one song before.
Oh my God, yeah, I had some other songs out.
What was it called? I was listening to it earlier.
Don't think
it's the one on the discography. White Claws.
White Knuckles.
White Knuckles, White Knuckles, yeah.
Well, I actually had like
that was cool. That's a cool song. I had that sort of indie sort of like
I have a
vibe.
few other songs out. I'm pretty sure I've scratched the.
You've deleted them off.
Off the face of the earth, but potentially they're somewhere else. I don't even know.
That's so good. We got to find it. Play it now.
No,
play a clip.
Absolutely not. I'm not telling you what they're called out, but
please. After the pod, tell us.
No, absolutely
she knows I'll just post
not.
it anyway. She's like, nah, don't trust you.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
I never would have expected it to. I was like, okay, I've got 300k on TikTok, so surely like maybe 10k streams. That's my goal for the first like month, because it's got to translate to some extent, because I have some followers, but the like almost 10 million in the year, like for basically my first proper release, I was like, this is insane. And as a 17-year-old,
no,
and
that's
I was
the thing.
still
It was
in
such
high
an
school
early
then.
release as well, so it's like you hadn't even released that many songs.
It was crazy. It was,
but
really,
it jump started
really crazy.
right, like
my actual like
your actual like career, like music career in the industry and everything, right?
Yeah.
Because then you obviously you got management and all those kinds of things off the back of that. And I mean, it's kind of, everyone's kind of trying to get a little bit of that, isn't it? Like get a nice little viral moment, because it's like if you can prove that you can go mega viral once, then it's like a lot of the like management and stuff will be in, because all right, you've proved that you can do it.
Yeah.
Now it's like give you some space to develop stuff and figure it out and try and pump some numbers again, kind of thing, right? It's a weird game though, isn't it? Trying to get streams and shit, because it's like it's stupid, but at the same time, it's kind of the metric of the industry that we're in.
Yeah.
Like if you can't convert streams at all, then you probably don't have a career.
Yeah.
Like that's the fucking reality.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So that's the story of Futon. And then you entered into your bubblegum grunge phase.
Yeah.
After that, right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't start in the bubble. It was just the bubblegum without the grunge, right?
Yeah. It was straight down the line, like bedroom pop, because when we released Futon, that was when like Benny's Super Lonely and like those kind of songs were really, really popping on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I think at that point also I was still very much in the artist development phase of like still trying to work out where I wanted to, like what space I actually wanted to sit in the industry.
Oh yeah.
And also I was like a 16-year-old girl, and so I just felt like I needed to stay in the like what a 16-year-old girl would make, which is like happy down the line pop music about boys and love.
Yeah.
Which, like, looking back, I'm like, what the hell?
No, but
hate
it totally,
that stuff.
but like you said, that's your demo, right? Like
Yeah.
your demo as that like 16-year-old girl is probably other 16-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And like, what do they want to hear? You know,
Yeah.
like, you know.
But I think,
But is that the music you were listening to at the time as well? Like, just because you're like,
not really, actually,
listen
not
like
at
metal
all.
and shit, and just like
I don't know. I just felt
battle rap.
It just felt like that's what I should be doing. And then, like, I love that song and everything that happened around it.
Of course.
But it definitely wasn't like my truest.
I've got God
self.
complex out. Go stream that, you bastards.
But see, it's such a great catapult into the industry of being able to have the connections.
It opened
and then,
the doors for you,
and then have
now
the
you
space,
can figure it out.
Yeah, to go into like songwriting sessions.
They
with
back
producers.
you in now because they know that like you have the capacity to actually, you know, you're not just coming in, oh, I'm good, man, I'll pop off one day, this and that. No, you've proved that you can already do it. You know what I mean? So I think that's half the battle with a lot of these labels. They just got to see some level of like evidence that you can do the thing, and then they'll take more of a, like they'll take a chance on people. So and then bubblegum grunge, like what song sort of started pushing you that way when you felt like you got a bit more grungy?
Well, I grew up on like rock music from my parents' influence. Like it was always just 80s rock playing, always.
Sick.
And so when I like grew up and started having my own music taste, that kind of translated into those kinds of artists. So I was like still back then also listening to like Bring Me the Horizon and Nothing But Thieves and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, but then I just felt like because I was a young girl, I had to make happy pop music. But then once I got into...
that's interesting though, like you felt like you had to kind of thing. Yeah.
And that's what I was doing, because I was like, that's the
right
I'm a girl,
thing.
that's what you got to do.
But you know, I think that's cool to learn that, like to start thinking about that stuff young, because I do think that's a massive challenge for a lot of artists who have even been doing it for a long time, is still fucking figuring out like how much of what they're doing is because it's what they think they need to do, and how much of it is like that real fucking deep down real shit. And sometimes the real deep down real shit might not be the most mainstream stuff, and that's like, you got to swallow that pill sometimes. It's like, all right, but do you want to put it out? I've always been a fan of just get a side project. Like I was putting out this sort of like indie, like Triple J folky stuff for a while, writing a lot of that, but I liked other shit, but I just felt like, but my brand is like got to stay here. I just made a weird side project and just on SoundCloud and made a few songs. One of them was Summer Rain. So I was like,
no way.
Yeah, so that was
I don't know that. That's crazy.
I think it's good to always experiment with, yes, do the stuff that maybe that you enjoy but might make the money. Like, you know, you're running a business. It's not bad to make a couple of songs that are pop bangers, because you can 100%. Also make another fucking 5 songs that are like just fucking weird. Yeah. Or heavy as fuck or like whatever.
Well, that's why when after Futon, because I, from that, had then like met so many producers and got to do actual like in-person songwriting sessions and was working, I went through like an experimental artist development phase of trying to just do anything and everything to see what I actually wanted to see. So there are so many songs that will never see the light of day in like all these different genres. I'm like, this is pretty awful.
Dropbox link, please.
Like crazy weird stuff. But this stuff that kind of ended up landing was that indie pop mixed with like 90s grunge-esque, which is what now I call bubblegum grunge. But the influences of like all the main pop girlies, because I would still say that vocals and like songwriting wise, I still sway into pop, but instrumentally I love the sounds of the heavy, yucky, distorted guitars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like the sound is even like more crunchier and sort of like heavier than you might even think it would be. And then when you listen to it, you're like, oh no, like there's some real weight to it. Like it really feels like some of the guitars just sound really thrashy and stuff like that. But it's also like, it's almost like hyper pop. I don't know, but it's like that produced modern day sound too, where it's like, it doesn't sound like a heavy metal band. You know, like I listen to a lot of like heavy stuff. It doesn't sound like that. It's not that. It's influenced of that, you know? But yeah, I think it works really well together.
Thank you.
Is that the kind of stuff you're focused on at the moment? You want to keep keeping that edge, but staying 100%. In the pop world as well, because even like Olivia Rodrigo and things like that, like she obviously has elements and stuff that go a bit more rocky.
She's probably
and grungy.
The most like mainstream artist that I would say my music is attuned to.
Because she has the heavier stuff too.
But that's also just props to like I work with some incredible producers.
Facts. Let's shout out the producers for a second. I want to hear a bit about
I work with a producer called Ben Oldland. He lives down in Melbourne.
Legend.
He's like the first one of the first producers that I worked with properly when I was like 17 or something. He's just insane, crazy. Every single time I've gone into a session with him, I've come out and been like, oh my God, that is a song. So I wrote God Complex with him, and almost all my stuff is with him. And he's just crazy. Like as soon as we go into the session, like stupid ideas that if you try to explain them just in words at first, you'd be like, well, this is going to sound awful.
Yeah.
But then we leave the session, we're like, holy shit, that's like crazy. That's so cool. He
gets it.
Yeah. So I work with, he's incredible. Love him so much.
Wow.
And another one, Xavier Dunn. He's Sydney based, also incredible. I did my last song with him, Just a Gimmick. Just insane producer. So talented. But that's why, yeah, I feel like obviously I'm like the face of myself. That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
my career, myself,
brand,
you know.
You have a personal brand kind of thing, right?
But the actual music is like so much props to the producers that I also work with, because they are incredible and they are half of the song, literally.
Literally. No, it's so crazy. There's so many talented just songwriters out there, and because they're not singing the songs, like they don't always get the props. But but I mean, you must have learned a lot just by doing all those sessions, for your own sort of just takeaways and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you do a bit of songwriting? Like you do a bit of songwriting solo and stuff at home just by yourself?
I do it all the time.
Yeah. So
I love the art of writing just in general. Yeah. So as soon as I get a little bit sad, I'm like, all right, let's get the guitar out.
Yeah.
And not because I like when I'm writing like that, it's not because I'm thinking about could this turn into a single. It's genuinely just an outlet. Like that is my hobby. You
can look at the single aspect later once it's out, and you can be like, oh fuck, that might work on this project or whatever.
Yeah, but most of the time,
initially it's got to be a genuine.
It's not even like structured songs. It's just like that is my hobby is songwriting. I just enjoy doing it. It's my outlet, regardless of what will happen.
And that's why I think I was like a fan of just having like a little side project for myself, because I was just like, I don't want it to feel like this pressure of everything that I write, I'm trying to put it on this EP that has to actually do something, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
You know, like it's got to do something, man. It's got to do something. Yeah. Anything, please, anything. But it's like, you can't lose the joy of just fucking creating. And it's like the original reason that you fell in love with it, you know? And genuinely for most artists, like they have a genuine passion that started, you know, somewhere. And it can get fucking... It sucks because it's like such a dream to want to make money and have a business that's successful or doing your art. And you know that people can do it, you know, people pull it off, and it's like, you know, we want to do that. But it's really tough as well in certain industries to make that happen. And it's just, that's the thing, like when you do have those moments where shit gets fucked up, it's like, if you're not passionate about it, you just quit.
Yeah.
Like you got to have that real passion and stay connected with that, I think. Otherwise, yeah, you're fucked.
100%.
But yeah, like I think I just do that. I'll sit in my studio and I'll just pick up the guitar and just, usually I start with a guitar and picking something on guitar and then just fucking whatever I'm feeling in the moment. But it does feel like if a tragedy happens, it's like, I know if I get in that studio right now, I'm going to write a banger. I don't always do it, you know what I mean? But you know, that like, fuck, that's the time we just write such crazy shit. That's crazy. So what's the process like? So something like God Complex, like you're trying to like push this heavier sort of style of music as well. Yeah. And even lyrically like change it up a bit too. Cause you go from, you know, strawberry cheeks and stuff like that, you know, sweet. It's very sweet, innocent. And then God Complex, now it's like, it's gone a little bit deeper and stuff. But I feel like you're having a healthy, like you're not having like a Miley Cyrus moment where you're like, I'm going to go crazy. Like you just like, it feels like you're having an organic. Yeah. And maybe that's because you've got a good team around you and stuff like that as well.
100%.
So what about like future projects and stuff? Where are you at now with that? Are you like, I know you're sort of still writing stuff and that, and
well, I have like a backlog of, it'd be over 100 songs that have just been sitting in a folder for the past like since like 2020, and like definitely some of them now I look back, I'm like, yeah, that won't ever come out because I wrote it in 2020, and in 2020 I was like, this is the best of the best that I've done.
Yeah.
And now, like 5 years later, I'm like, okay, no, that's definitely not the best of the best. But there is a bunch of music that I've just kind of been sitting on. It's honestly, it's just really expensive to release music.
That's so real though.
I don't think people realize, like even my friends, when they like talk about like, where's the EP coming? When's the album? I'm like, guys, you don't understand how expensive it is to actually release music. It's crazy. If I could just like randomly on a Tuesday be like, I'm going to release a song, of course I would. Of course. Everyone would do that.
The songs are there. They're in the vault.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
But the EP, like I have been working on the EP. The songs are all written and chosen. We've just got to kind of iron out some of the kinks. But
Fun.
first half of this year, that's my goal anyway.
Sick. That's good.
Yeah.
So people can look forward to that. And
Yeah.
then you're on there, you're getting stuff out. I mean, it's really tough, man. I mean, like it costs so much money for the artist as well. I feel like you got to put everything you've got into it, and then you just like. But there's so much behind the marketing of it and the actual releasing of it, right?
And you're not
like,
making any money back.
You never make any fucking money, do you know what I mean? Like even like touring and stuff, you were saying that like, you know, and a lot of artists were saying, you know, you can just end up breaking even, you know, and you're going on these tours, and I don't know, people think they see you at an event or they see you, you know, like
they think
doing
that you're
cool
dripping
shit.
in money.
They think
oh
you're
my
like
gosh.
balling. You're like, bro, it could not be fucking
Literally the other day when I was busking, there was a dad who came up to me and he was like, oh my gosh, I just sent a picture of you to my daughter just to show, like, a video to my daughter to say, oh my gosh, look at this nice busker in the city. And she replied and went, oh my gosh, I know exactly who she is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is such a sweet thing. Like, I thought he was going to maybe say like, oh, like, can you take a photo of my daughter or something?
Yeah.
But then his mood just changed and he's like, and she told me that you got 1.5 million followers on TikTok. Why are you out here busking? You're already making so much money and you're taking it from other people. And I was like, whoa.
You're taking it from other people?
Yeah, I'm like, girl, I'm making nothing from TikTok.
Hey, guess what? Reality check. Everyone's money comes from someone else. And they get it.
Like, this is how I make my money. This is my job. I obviously didn't say anything back because I was like, he's not going to understand. So that was why you're busking and live
streaming and stuff like that?
Yeah, because that's my job. That literally is my job.
You support yourself off of that.
Yeah.
You know, like me and Jen are trying to do a bit of live streaming as well, and like you definitely can make some money off of it, you know, for sure.
There's other things, but that is part of
But dude, if you're
job.
If you're in a position where you can make, you know, even if it's $500 a week or something like that, if you're taking it seriously and actually, you got to grind, you've got to live stream. You can't just do it for half an hour and you make fucking $10,000. Like, you know, to make anything, you really got to put some hours in, which you do. But then it's basically like you're busking twice. You're busking like in real life. You're also doing it digitally,
that's true.
and people can just gift it that way. It's just smart. It's like it's a fucking survival game out here. You know, for like a lot of musicians, it's like if you can figure out a way to fund it that allows you to still be creative.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would someone want to tear you down for that? It's like you're not balling, bro. Like, you know,
it is funny how many of my friends genuinely think that I'm like so rich. I'm like, guys, your jobs that you've gotten just straight out of uni, you're making way more than I am. I promise you.
And it's stability as well that they have it, where it's like for people that are more entrepreneurial, sometimes the money it's up and down.
Yeah.
You're like, I know for me and Jen, especially on the come up, there was times where we're like, oh sick, we've got like all our jobs have been all invoiced and paid off in the same week. We're balling, let's go out for dinner, let's do this shit. And then you just spend too much money and you end up doing 2 weeks of just like fucking hell, stressing out. But it's super expensive to like be a musician. But like you feel like you have the passion in it and this is your dream, so you're gonna
100%. There's nothing else that I would do.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's it.
But you also do the TikTok radio stuff as well. You were saying like you could do stuff like that as well.
I do lots of other little cool things, which is really fun. I love all aspects of being an influencer / musician.
Well, I think that's interesting as well about like, you know, like because you are an influencer too, right?
I guess.
Right?
I don't know. I've always felt there's just the weird connotations with the word influencer.
Right.
So I've never.
So what does it mean for you?
For me, the way that I look at my social media and everything that I do is, I'm a musician. I'm an artist. I make music. I'm a singer, and social media just happens to be the thing that has worked to promote it. So I don't know. I never really call myself an influencer because I feel like the influencers feel more like people who purely just do social media, like for me.
Yeah, like Jen, like more like what Jen does.
Yeah,
like she calls herself more of an influencer because
I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I just mean as in like influencer for me is more that is your sole job.
Yeah.
Whereas
we start with music and then we have to add the marketing layer on, which happens to be content creation. But this is the thing, doesn't it then get to a weird point where you just become a fucking influencer? Like, you know, once you're doing brand collabs, you're doing get ready with me's, you're doing like these things, and after a while it's like you're just kind of forced to become. And also it's not bad because if you're actually having success in that space, then that's probably how you're funding your music. You know, like I think it is an opportunity for a lot of musicians to actually make some money, because for a lot of them it's like, how the fuck can we make any money?
Well, yeah, that's the job.
And if you can actually, like, you've got to be on there anyway, right? Like, you've got to be on their marketing anyway. And it's kind of just the modern world the way it is, you know, and if you can find some success on it, you could just post covers. You know, and you could still live stream and just like sing music. Then what? You're just singing music and you're getting paid to sing music, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm all for it, I reckon.
Yeah.
I think
it's a nice like balance. Like still the other stuff that I post is either makeup or fashion or stuff that I, as a human being, is still an extension of myself and things that I enjoy, which still wraps around into my music. Like, I don't know, I'm not posting like comedy stuff, you know what I mean? That's when I'd be like, that's so random, because I suck at comedy, and like if I started doing that, then I would feel like I'm becoming an influencer purely just to
I feel it'd be funny just to see you do it, because it just would be so weird that you'd like even be doing it,
and it would be so bad.
No, it'd be so fucking funny. Oh my god. Jenna did that one recently, the Anna Paul.
Yeah,
did you see that one she did?
Yeah.
And it just fucking got like 1 million views or whatever. I was like, holy shit. Oh my god, you should do a skit together. That'd be
just
so
randomly
funny.
in the middle of nowhere, boom, cover, comedy skit.
Comedy skit. See, this is the fucking problem I run into, bro. That's what I'm trying to fucking do sometimes, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I feel like I'm so confusing for the audience.
But if you enjoyed making that content and you feel, then that's different.
I do.
If I did that, it would be purely because, I don't know, if there was like a trend and I was doing it, but I wouldn't feel genuine.
You wouldn't have this creative urge.
No, it wouldn't feel genuine.
I want to make people laugh.
I'd suck
I
at
want
it.
to dance, daddy. I want to tap dance for a living. Who's that guy?
I have no idea what you're saying.
Billy Elliot.
I don't know.
Like, do you know that?
No. No.
Fuck's sakes. Fucking millennials, bro. I'm talking to myself. Wait, you're not a millennial?
No, I'm Gen Z.
You're out of it.
Yeah.
Fucking millennials, bro. No, I actually think everyone should give Gen Z a break, because they copped so much shit, and it's like 50-year-olds ripping on them all the time. At one point, it was really popular for like boomers to rip on Gen Z. I'm like, you look so immature. You're 50, you're ripping on like 15-year-olds. And I'm like, they're 15. Of course they're acting like fucking idiots.
Yeah, because they're acting like 15-year-olds.
Everyone does at 15. Hey. Like, literally wait till they get to like 25, 30, then start to judge them a bit more. Get off their fucking backs, you bastards. All right, God Complex. Do you have one?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
My vibe was... It was a bit of a take on sort of the narcissism and stuff like that sometimes in society.
I think also because that was the...
Because you don't strike me as a God Complex kind of gal.
God, no, I'm like so insecure, and I'm such an introvert, and I'm so like
it's a good cover. That's what a God Complex would say. No.
But when I wrote that song, it was, I think, maybe even like the second song that I had written post Futon everything, and like TikTok and stuff. So it was I was writing it. I would have been 18 when I wrote it, I think. And I was writing it
God Complex?
in the
Wow, so you sat on that one for a little while.
Yeah.
A couple of years, yeah.
We wrote it over a Zoom call as well, because we were still in lockdown. But that was one of the first songs, and I was talking about like being in this like the world of social media, and like obviously this is now like 4 years on, so nothing like I'm used to it now.
But during COVID as well, right? Like you're seeing so much more social media
just being
stuff,
like, and exposed to it for the first time, I guess, like the actual intricacies of it, and like how people can be in the industry, because I had never seen it before, because I hadn't been in the industry before. That song was like one of the first songs of me basically talking about my experience
kind
within
of like
that.
calling him out a little bit. It's like kind of like
kind of. That was
a slight diss track vibe.
Yeah,
sick, bro. And it's heavy as well. It's got that heaviness too, so it's kind of grungy as well. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah. Gosh, no, I don't have a God complex at all.
No, I didn't think you did. I just wanted to get a good clip. Just wanted to get a good clip on that one. No, I'm pretty sure we figured out, I don't know, you did say you want to cheat on the quiz night.
Oh my gosh, I can't let effing hotel know.
They're not watching it. We got 50 views.
Oh.
All right. So I've got a couple. How are we going for time, Greg, by the way?
You're about 43 minutes.
That's pretty. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, so I usually aim for 45, but we just like we just whatever, let it wrap up kind of vibes. Oh, I did want to get your thoughts on the Chapel Roan acceptance speech and just like Grammys and stuff like that in general. Like as musicians, I feel like that's just some relevant topical stuff that's happened recently.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think Chapel's speech was great, and I'm glad she actually addressed it. I think she's probably one of the first artists to like blow up to the point that she has so mainstream and so like openly talking about it. I'm sure there's been artists before that have been on labels and dropped and then re-signed, but no one has really openly talked about it how she has. She's got no fourth wall of like, she says it how it is. And I think it's great because there's so much that people don't realize about the industry and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that she's so openly telling like the world how like messed up some of the old like systems that are in place can be. Even like getting signed, like a lot of my like friends who have nothing to do with music are always like, why don't you just get signed, because then you'll be so rich. I'm like, that's not my money anyway. If I get signed for $1 billion. I am now in debt.
No one wants to get signed anymore, bro.
And
do you know what I mean? Like,
it's...
There's certain deals that, obviously if the deal's good enough, you'll take it. But most of the kids coming up now, they're not really thinking about getting signed as much. They're more like, how can I blow up on TikTok?
Yeah. But I think it's great that she's talking about it so openly.
Yeah.
And so just nonchalantly.
I like the idea. Like, I know what you mean. She's like, no shame at all to just call it out. It reminds me of like Ricky Gervais almost. Like, do you know Ricky Gervais? Fucking millennials, bro.
I don't know who that is.
Fuck's sakes. It's 2 bombs.
No.
That's 2 bombs in a row. Wait. But how she's just calling them out. But yeah, I just think it's the modern day world a lot as well. And a lot of people are getting called out for a lot of shit. But I thought it was the first time I heard of the idea of like, it just makes you think about what is the worth of artists and stuff. And like, I know how much fucking money I've sunk into stuff and how much I've made. You know, I've made money in other ways on the sides or whatever, busking and stuff like that. But as far as actual, like, off the back of the songs, I mean, you get paid nothing from streaming or whatever.
Well, I guess it's because so much of it is not seen as like a job. It's your passion and you love it so much, which is why you do it. But
if you have a passion for plumbing, does that mean you shouldn't get paid when you fucking unblock someone's toilet?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I always feel like artists get this sort of cop-out shit, but I actually think that like art is so fucking important for culture. And like, you could take all the art out because with the whole COVID thing, it was like, who's an essential person, right? And obviously performing artists and stuff playing Sunday gigs and stuff aren't considered that, but I just thought it was an interesting thing, and I'm like, I just don't know if I like maybe that specific person doesn't need to be out and about, but in general, like having musicians like doing their thing, being part of the culture and art and stuff, I just think it's like I wouldn't want to live in a world that didn't have that.
100%.
So it's like you can say it's like not essential to just take it out of the equation, and people would survive, but it's just not like a world that we really like recognize or just want to be a part of and stuff. So it is interesting, the idea of like, how can we support these people a bit fucking more? Because they are fucking, and for a lot of artists that never make it or never really end up making money, they could still sink $50,000+ over a
100%,
career into their stuff and they see nothing out of it. So I don't know. And I feel like labels are like having to change up their methods these days. It's all different for them too. They're trying to figure out the new, what the new deal is and stuff like that. But I don't know, like you're signed with like management kind of thing, but you just have management. Yeah. So what would it like, are you guys trying to get a deal? Like, do you have an idea of, if we had this deal, we'd be happy? Or is that something you're even aiming for? Or are you just mostly focused on socials and stuff?
I've talked to, like, done the conversations heaps, but I think because the whole industry has shifted from you used to need to have a record label to basically release your music to now being able to do it. The main thing that they have is the money to back stuff, but it's just not a necessity anymore, especially with social media and being able to promote yourself. There's so many other avenues. So I'm not like outwardly being like, oh my God, I really want to get signed. Like as soon as I get signed, everything's going to change.
Like goal.
For me, it's more about having a team of people that see the vision and like fully support it and are just as confident in it as I am. And if a label comes across that has a team of people who believe in it and feel that way and are ready to put in just as much work as well, then I would love to sign. But if it's just purely for the sake of like signing, it's not a desperation
of like I just want to be signed.
No.
Because I've seen a lot of people get signed and then like, and then if anything, sometimes I've seen it actually damage artists. I actually see it quite a lot where I think they've got this idea of getting signed and then they get signed and they think it's all just going to happen.
Well, even talking about Chapel Roan, like that's basically what happened to her at the beginning.
Right.
Then she got signed, thought that was going to be it. Then she got dropped.
Right.
And then she started releasing independently and that's when all the music kind of took off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens all the time.
I mean, you're a good example of it, you know, like with the early success on TikTok and stuff. And it probably helped shape your reality around like, oh, cool. Like with the right people around me, like we can find success. Yeah. We can find pretty good success by like without a label and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that is kind of the modern thing as well. But I thought it was interesting just to wrap that thing up about how she was talking about like healthcare and stuff like that for developing artists and stuff. It's a mental health fucking nightmare being a fucking artist. You know what I mean? Like we struggle, like a lot of artists do struggle with that stuff. It's a hard journey, but I thought it was interesting. It's a good conversation.
Yeah. I think it's great that she's talking about it on a level where like your average person now kind of goes, oh, I didn't think about that in the creative arts.
Yeah, I've never really thought about that, but I do think that artists, like I don't want to be too demanding, like we deserve this. Because at the end of the day, like we're just playing our guitars in our rooms and stuff, you know, we're not heart surgeons necessarily, but
100%.
But I do think if we really like look at it and we think about culture and like, you know, the art, you got to respect it and stuff like that. And you got to help people. Because the thing is, there's a lot of people that could do amazing stuff if they had the right support that never get the support and they can't.
Yeah.
You know, so. But all right, so wrap it up because I think we've done a good chunk here. But is there anything you wanna plug? I think that was a great message for young artists as well about being independent and backing yourself. But yeah, do you want to plug anything, or do you want to? Thanks for being on, bro.
Thanks for having me.
No worries.
I mean, there's not really too much to plug yet. The new music is coming very soon. I actually mean it this time.
But what about your busking? You're busking like you're going crazy.
I'm busking every single day, basically. Oh no, I lie. I'm not busking every single day. I'm going live every single day.
Right.
Busking is like a full day thing. Like I'm leaving my house at like 10:30 and I'm getting home, depending on the day, sometimes like 8 to 9 o'clock. Like it's my full day. So how many
hours of actual singing are you doing in a day?
My like normal goal is to do about 5 hours of actual busking.
Solid.
But I also like don't live anywhere in the city. So it takes me over an hour to get in, over an hour to get back.
It's a whole journey, yeah.
So that's really like 3 hours of just travel. And then I have to like, just like little things, I have to recharge my phone and stuff and wait for a busking spot. So it's like a full day thing. But that's why I can't do it every day because I just have other things.
Yeah, you have a different life. You don't purely exist purely to busk. But for you selfish, greedy consumers. No, I'm just joking. I love yous.
But yeah, catch me on the streets. That's where I am.
Yeah, that's it. No, literally, this is what's great about busking too. It's just like there's some amazing talent that you can just see for free walking around the street. So yeah, guys, catch Ulla on the streets, out busking, not every day, but pretty much every freaking day. And go stream our music, incredible stuff, and keep an ear out for the new music that you're going to be dropping in 2025. I'm excited to hear it as well.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for coming on, legend.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to add?
Me. Love y'all. Bye.
Nice. We did it. Solid. We smashed that.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me.
Dude, no.